Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning back in to Matrix Breakers, whether you're watching us here on Facebook or listening via Spotify or Apple. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Feel free to obviously leave a 5-star review. Just wanted to start by saying that it helps just to get with the outreach, and also want to include an invitation for other people who would love to be interviewed and connect their ideas with our space here on Matrix Breakers, where we're always trying to break out of the matrix. We're trying to improve ourselves, improve the quality of our lives, and help build incredible, powerful relationships. And with me, I have my lovebird and my partner and just powerful woman and by my side every day, Kasey Sphire. You say hello.
Hi.
Yeah, so we obviously live together. We spend life together. However, I learned so much from Kasey, and she brings about a level of grace and just a way of handling emotional blockages, a way of showing up in her own life that I feel other people could really be inspired by, because I'm inspired by it all of the time. And so, just to begin, I'd love to ask her what's alive for her right now in her life.
That's a really great question, babe. Um, what is alive for me? Well, I just launched my new brand, Mind and Beauty Life, and that is feeling very exciting. And as you know, I'm kind of in the exploration phase of what this is going to unfold into for the future, but it's really weaving together two of my greatest passions, which are working with the mind and creating beautiful things. So we can definitely dive more into that, but that's probably the biggest thing that I'm excited about right now.
How would you say you kind of add that into your daily routine, like that kind of mindset for people who don't really know how to embody that?
Um, well, I would say for the mind part, just doing the little micro things on a daily basis, right? So for me, that looks like daily journaling and meditation, having conversations, right? Like even if you and I need to have a conversation, it's just really focusing on like that self-awareness of where's my mind at? How do I bring myself back to balance if I'm feeling out of balance? And how can I nurture my mind every day, right? By like feeding
Hmm.
it positivity, right? So, my journaling practice looks different every day, but for the most part, there's gratitude every day. Um, and there's prayer every day. Those are the two things that are consistent every single day. And so, with those two elements, you know, focusing on the mind, and I would say spirit too, but that really, I think, helps keep my mind healthy, feeding it all of the positivity, right? And then as far as beauty, um, I do hair, been a hairstylist for a very long time. Um, and I've just always had like such an appreciation for beauty and creating beauty, and whether that's through hair artistry or whether that's in a home space through aesthetics, whether that's out in nature and just really appreciating the beauty of the earth, right?
Hmm.
So for me, bringing in the element of beauty is that like, you know, for me, it's like style too, like my own personal style. So like what I'm dressing in every day, how I fix my hair, how I do my makeup, also getting out in nature. Um, and then also with the work that I do in hair, making others feel really beautiful. Um, so that's a little bit about how I incorporate those.
Yeah, so Casey has a pretty extensive night routine, I would say, as to how she keeps herself beautiful. And there's also, so what I've witnessed with her is, especially with hair, has been the ability for her to use her creative energy, and just also her consistency, because of just a consistent, workflow that she's had with hair for so many years, to make people really feel beautiful. It transforms people. And a lot of women out there, sometimes they don't even invest in their hair as much as maybe they should. But it does change, I think, people's like just their attitude about themselves and their confidence and everything about that. And I know that Kasey really is wants to create that experience for other people, for her clients. And so huge shout out for people who want to like get their hair done with Kasey. Like people should know. For those who are local in Boulder area, you think I would love to ask you where exactly you're at. She just moved to a new place, a new salon in Niwot. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I just recently, about a month ago, moved into a new space. It's in the cutest town here in Colorado called Niwot, and I'm loving it there. It's smaller and laid back, but still luxurious, and yeah, it's a great space. And so far, my clients are loving it, and so yeah, I would invite anyone who is looking, for a new stylist or a new space, come check it out.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's called
awesome.
Second Nature. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kasey loves doing that. She's into beauty. And I would love to ask, really, like, what is it that inspires you to just stay beautiful, like continue to invest in yourself the way that you do? Because a lot of women, maybe they don't really think about it as much, or they don't really consider it, and they don't feel that confidence that they should. What is it about you that makes you feel confident and in your power when it comes to your beauty?
Well, I think firstly, I really value beauty, and I think maybe not all women or, people that may not be high on their value list, right? And so because I am very attuned to my own personal values, for me, that's like, it goes along with the health, right? Like I really highly value health, and health for me goes, side by side with beauty. Um, and so I would say eating really healthy foods actually makes me feel really beautiful, right? Because I'm putting things, nutrients in my body that are going to make my hair healthier. They're going to make my skin glow, make my face more clear, right? So like that's a big piece of it. And movement makes me feel really good, right? Like for me, it's like so much broader than just the external beauty. It's like feeling beautiful on the inside. And so, for me, if I'm doing the things that make me feel good, then that makes me feel beautiful, right? So eating healthy foods, movement, um, also just like putting on an outfit that makes me feel really good, right? Like that I think attributes to an element of confidence, but also following through, right? Like I think one of the biggest pieces of building self-confidence is following through with what you say you're going to do, right? So like for me, it's embodiment, right? So if I really value beauty and health, mindset, all of those things, what does my everyday look like? Like am I truly embodying that? So for me, it's like non-negotiable to go do some type of movement every day, eat healthy foods every day, um, do things that make me feel beautiful, like picking out an outfit that makes me feel good. Um, for me, styling my hair, right? Like even just giving myself a nice blowout makes me feel confident and beautiful. So those are just
Yeah.
a few things. Yeah.
Well, some of y'all don't know, but Kasey and I, we moved in together, and recently we joined. Well, I mean, I've been at Gold's Gym for years since I moved here to Colorado, but that's another thing that she's been embarking on, which is kind of like weightlifting and building strength, like building muscle, instead of kind of doing the regular thing that most women do, tend to be like, yoga, and what, like Pilates classes, various different cardio workouts that aren't necessarily building any muscle. I would love to ask how that has affected you since you've been here. So it's been like since August, and you're saying movement is important, and also just in general, you're going out and working out and building
Mhm.
muscle. Like, how has that been for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I feel younger, I feel stronger, more fit. My energy is better. It's a win.
Is it a recommendation for other women, you think?
Yeah, definitely. And, there's studies that, show working out, like lifting weights specifically, is one of the best anti-aging secrets out there is weightlifting. So all y'all women
Mm-hmm.
out there listening, go lift some weights. And especially when you get over 30, our, our bone density starts to decrease as women. And so lifting weights is like especially important for keeping really strong, healthy bones.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And you've changed some of your branding from follow your happy to mind and beauty life. So that's something that people don't really know a lot about. Maybe they don't know you that much in terms of what you've been doing with your hair, like hair in general, for years, and then just your commitment to making women feel beautiful and healthy and radiant. And then, of course, the mind work, which we're going to get to in a little bit. But what inspired you to create that shift in your brand?
I think, what really inspired me to create that shift is, well, firstly, follow your happy was starting to just feel no longer in alignment, right? Like, and that was kind of the umbrella of several different businesses. I had my cacao business, which is a physical product, and then my coaching, and then hair. Hair wasn't really follow your happy; it was just kind of separate. And for me, I just really wanted to weave them together. I wanted to integrate both, right? Like my coaching and my hair. And it's funny, over the years, I've witnessed this. A lot of my coaching clients or my coaching world people, friends, they have had no idea that I do hair, right? Like even I don't know, it's just like they're like, "Oh, wait, what? You do that too?" And then my hair clients, they know that I'm a coach, but they don't really know like exactly what that looks like or what I do. And this kind of came about. I was actually on a support staff for the rapid rewire method, which is a methodology that I'm certified in, which we can talk more about that later. It is incredible. But I was just at the most recent training here in Boulder, and I was talking to the co-founder's wife, and she was just complimenting my hair, and she's like, "Your hair's so pretty." And I was like, "Oh, well, thank you." And I was like, "Well, I actually do hair." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, no way, you do hair too?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it kind of just flowed out of my mouth. It was like mind and beauty. And she's like, "Whoa, that's like sounds really awesome." She's like, "That could be your brand." And it just really clicked. And I was like, "Wow, yeah, that like feels really right." And so that was kind of, the seed was planted at that event over the weekend. And then I like came home and bought the domain immediately. And I'm getting ready to work on the website for it. But that's kind of how it started. And, creating space for it too, right? Like I realized the cacao was no longer in alignment. And um, I was not following my happy, right? And so it's really important to me that whatever I'm teaching, that falls underneath of my brand, especially like I better be embodying that, right? And I just realized like, wow, like it's not giving up the business. It's time to pivot, right? And that was a really challenging decision to make. But once I made that decision and then created the space, then mind and beauty was birthed.
Yeah, I've been a witness to that 100%, and have seen that just kind of the mold of that just has really helped you like grow and just embody more of who you are and what you're trying to create for others. And for those of you who maybe, let's just say they're new to you, um, they don't know about what you offer in terms of coaching. And before we get in the rapid rewire, because we can talk about that, what was your experience in coaching? How have you helped clients? What exactly do you do for coaching in terms of like what you've seen for your clients?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just really eliminating blocks, whether they are emotional or physical, personal. Like, um, my coaching is, I would say the approach is very holistic. So I look at every aspect of the client's life because everything is connected, right? Like our relationships, our career, our personal joy. Um, and so, if any area is out of balance, we do work on that, right? And we remove the blocks that are holding them back from their success and happiness. So I would say specifically, it's really working with the subconscious mind, right? Like we have so much stored in our subconscious, and our conscious mind, we're walking around like, okay, I desire X, Y, Z, right? But then our subconscious mind maybe is not in agreement with that, right? So there's a little bit of a disconnect, and so that's what really keeps people stuck, right? And we're walking around saying like, oh, I want this thing, but then, our subconscious mind is 95% of our brain, right? And so we're trying to make a decision from that 5% of conscious, right? And then because there's such a bigger percentage in our subconscious that is believing one thing, then it keeps us stuck. And so we really have to go into the subconscious and rewire that so that it can liberate the person to actually truly move forward. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. So then because you already touched on it a little bit, but rapid rewire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so from my understanding, rapid rewire is a method in psychology, or even more new, even newer than some of the psychology that people are learning today. But it deals directly with the subconscious mind and reprogramming it. So, you know, you've had to go through a whole course learning about it,
Mm-hmm.
and this was a weekend long workshop. And now that you've been through it, you've graduated, you've been certified in it, and then you've also been back to the event to facilitate the same event for other people who are looking to get certified in the rapid rewire
Mm-hmm.
method. And the rapid rewire method, anybody else who's interested, it is a method for used by coaches and therapists and counselors
Mm-hmm.
and people in that kind of field to enhance their ability to work with clients and get clients results. For
Yeah. And
you, I would love,
rapidly.
yeah, so that's the rapid rewire, like the point
Yeah.
of it. So yeah, from your perspective though, that's just me explaining it, but from your perspective, how would you explain the rapid rewire method? Maybe even how you got introduced to it first, but then what it is.
Yeah. So I also want to clarify it was more than just like a weekend training. So we did the weekend, but then it was also like an 8-week online curriculum too. So it was pretty in depth, but I got introduced to it. One of my best friends, Stephanie Kwong, she's the co-founder, and I just witnessed it do really massive transformation for her. Um, and she is very well trained in a lot of different modalities, such as hypnotherapist, or she's a hypnotherapist. And so she's worked a lot with clients with hypnotherapy and other modalities as well. And this was by far the most effective methodology that she had experienced in her personal life. And then, anyway, she and Wesley, the both the founders, and they created Rapid Rewire, and it has just been such a profound way to really help people shift, right? Help people transform. And there's such a wide variety of things that you can utilize it for. What I really love about it is it works with the mind and the body. And so, a lot of times I find that a lot of different uh, modalities out there kind of focus on one or two um, parts of our like whole just selves, right? Like sometimes it's, oh, let's just focus on your mindset, right? If you can shift your mindset, then you're going to shift your life. But like sometimes it's deeper than that, right? Like sometimes we have things that are stored in our physical body that we need to be able to unravel and find what the root is, or it's in our emotions. Um, and so it really focuses on mind and body, and it helps, not only identify what is there and what is holding people back, and all the gunk, right? Like there's so many layers that people don't even know that are inside. And so it really helps unravel all of that. And then it helps to shift it. So that's a little bit about it. But I guess to be also a little bit more, I don't know, simple, it's
Hmm.
like a verbal processing that you take someone through. So
How
it's
long does
really
it take?
someone, it can take anywhere from 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Um,
And
yeah.
then how
I gen
fast? So usually, like, where do you take people? I know it's a scale from 1 to 10, right? Someone has an
so gen
issue and it's a 10 for them, or it's a
well,
nine.
okay, that's a great question. So most of the time it's not going to be a 10 because 10 means like you can't function.
Yeah.
And so and one is like basically whatever the problem is, it's like hardly there, right? So I generally, yeah, like take people through like when we, figure out what it is that we're going to work through, we find what the emotional charge is, right? So like what is the intensity of that emotional charge? Most of the time when it's really intense for people, it's like a 7 or 8. So the goal of it, you know, the goal in just one session would be to get it down to like a 2 or 1, right? My goal is always to get it a 0. So oftentimes, depending on the intensity of whatever we're working on, I might run a few different processes on people, and it might take multiple sessions. Most of the time, and through my experience so far, whatever we're working on, it's cleared in one session. And that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. So then, if something's cleared in one session, it's almost like, sometimes one problem can lead to another, or like people realize, okay,
Yeah.
that's not an issue anymore, but then there's something else. And then
Yeah.
it's just about, I think for me, even it's just all, life comes down to just how do we solve these problems faster and move
Yeah.
through things faster, not let things hold us back. We see a problem, you can process it a lot faster. I think that's the whole point of this whole thing too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because it's a liberation, right? And the yeah, more times than not too, you clear one problem and it will identify another problem, right? You're like, oh, okay, that's gone, but like, oh wow, like this thing's here. Um, so it's just, yeah, it's a really cool technique in that way. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, it's been powerful. And, like I know Kasey has gone through her own work for herself, for years, just always learning, always improving, always questioning and just being curious as to like, how can we make things better? How can things get better than this? Those types
Mhm.
of things. And I feel like, for people out there who want to work with Kasey, there's a lot of benefits to it, given the fact that she's been through a lot and she's able to listen and really truly be there for you, and take in what you're saying. Because even though it's a rapid rewire method, doesn't mean that she doesn't care about your problems and she just wants to like get you through it as quickly as possible. It's not the whole point. I think the point is more about letting you process things and allowing this process to be quicker. Like, I would say people would obviously generally want to be moved through their problems faster. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's something that comes up for me, and something that I've admired about you as well.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And it's really cool. My coaching practice is, it's not just like oh, I don't know. I guess there's like different levels of it, right? Because it's like, okay, you have the rapid rewire for the people out there. They're like, oh, I have a very specific problem that I want to solve, or something, a block that I want to move through. But then there's the people that are like, actually, there's so many layers, and I really need support and like someone to just kind of guide me for a longer term, right? So it's like there's that too, and that's more of the like holistic package. So I'm really passionate about all of it. And um, I think what it is, it's like, how sometimes if you're getting a massage and then there's like a knot there and you're like, whoa, I didn't even know that was there. It's like that with coaching. It's
Hmm.
like once you start to just get into the work, you're like, oh wow, like there's so much there that I didn't even realize that's holding me back from my greatness. And so that's my favorite thing, is being able to highlight that with people and walk alongside of them and transform it, right? And so that they can create the life that they truly, truly desire and feel just so empowered and so embodied in their truth, and just so confident too.
Yeah, yeah. That's powerful, because there is so much to uncover for people that probably won't even be willing to acknowledge it in like some kind of a session. A lot of people are going through coaching, they're not really sharing the full story, and that's why they're not getting results, because they're not honest with themselves. They're not honest with their coach. They're not honest with someone who's actually trying to help them. But I think this one method can kind of get to a lot of those things, like without being super invasive about someone's privacy or like what they've been through. I think it's been a great thing for her to use as a tool, and
Mhm.
everything else. But yeah, I mean, what else do you think is something that you're kind of excited about that you're doing right now in the world?
Something else that I'm excited about that I'm doing in the world. Um, I think the other really big piece for me is being a mom,
Hmm.
because it's like this is our future, and being able to guide us of my mindset and like everything that I've learned along my journey, I think is really impactful. And it's like not only benefiting her, but like her peers and just her whole generation. And she's in middle school now, and that's like a really challenging time. So I think, yeah, like I'm just excited to be a mom in this new phase of motherhood.
Yeah. Yeah, I think something that Kasey can do is like help other mothers be great mothers.
Mhm.
I think the relationship that she has with her daughter Addie is like very, very rare, given that they share a lot. And it doesn't mean that her daughter is extremely open, because she's really not. There's a lot of people who are outward processors, even as children, and so they'll talk about their problems to all kinds of people. And I feel that her daughter Addie doesn't really do that. She's obviously like more private. And so to have a private, really great relationship as a mom is something I think a lot of moms out there wish that they had. And lately we've been having fun with Addie, and we're thinking about creating themes and like wanting to teach her things that we know this world isn't going to teach her unless it's through hard times or something. Lessons are just amazing to teach and learn, but our school system doesn't even really have that. They don't really teach our kids about lots of life things that are completely necessary for people to grow and learn and evolve and, accomplish great things and succeed in life, things like that. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like Kasey's been a really great, mother in that sense. She's just being open. But a lot of times that you say that Addie has almost raised you because you were younger when you had her, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want
So
me, you want me to talk more about
I
that?
was going to yeah, share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Addie truly has been such a gift for me. I was super young when I had her, and she really was the catalyst that turned my life around. Um, and it wasn't long after having her that I got on my health journey, and my personal growth journey. And I really stepped into just more of the truth of who I am, and just felt more healthy, vibrant, powerful, beautiful than ever. And I don't know that that would have happened had I not had her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of people who are just, they're afraid of having kids in general, or they don't want any children. But there's just lifetimes of lessons in that. And it just makes you more of obviously just an evolved person, working with various different people who haven't experienced that yet. So that might be something that, you can help other people with, which is being a great mother or like embracing it, not being afraid of it. Like, I'm sure there's so many things that happen with people. And I'm sure there's women listening to this podcast that are like either pregnant or want to become pregnant or have a kid that's young. So yeah, just working with someone who's already been a mother, who's also a coach, who can help, with various different parts of their lives. That's really awesome. Well, that's pretty great. I mean, anything else that you can share that's on your mind that you feel like people should know? What would that be?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think for any of the moms out there, actually, something that I think a lot of moms can struggle with is finding time to really take care of themselves and to do the things that make them feel confident and beautiful and powerful. And I think that a lot of moms experience guilt around that. And I know I did initially, right? Like I had a lot of guilt around taking time for myself and to take care of myself and to focus on my personal growth. And I really had to work through that. And I actually had a coach at the time, and she really helped me. And so I would definitely say if any of the mamas out there, are feeling that way of like, I don't have time or I feel guilty, but I want to focus on myself, definitely reach out because I've been there. And here's the thing that I think is really important to share on that note is it's actually the most selfless thing you can do to take care of yourself and to put yourself first. Because if your cup is full, you can just serve that much better, right? And you're overflowing, right, with your self-love so that you can give that much more to your family. So I'll just, yeah, leave all the moms with that. If you're, listening and you're like, oh, I feel guilty, it's selfish to take time for myself. Like, no, if you're coming from a full cup, you're going to be a better mother. So just, yeah, little note for that.
Yeah, yeah, and like I mean, other practical ideas. So some of the things I know Kasey does. She cooks for herself all the time. She literally won't eat something that's opened like a day ago. She just, she's very meticulous about those things. I mean, what is it that what is it that you think is just more practical advice for people to take when considering their health, their beauty, their looks, their feeling of themselves, like because honestly, one thing that I've noticed with Kasey is she's never really sick.
Mhm.
She's just always healthy, and her immune system is rock solid. So I don't know if you have any like supplement recommendations or just in general health tips for people that you would think are valuable.
Yeah, that's a great question. I am kind of a superfood junkie. I love superfoods and supplements. Maybe we can share a few of my favorites in the show notes for people. Um, I should probably add that to my website too. It'd be a good thing, a good resource. But yeah, I mean, I drink like a really, really clean like greens powder every day that's packed with superfoods, a really healthy protein shake, the longevity one. It's my favorite, the banana cream. Um, I also drink a bone broth, a chocolate bone broth protein every day, which has collagen and so many just vitamins, minerals. I drink that every morning and it's delicious. Paleo Valley makes that. Paleo Valley, highly recommend that brand. They're really, really clean, really great company. But really just the simple things, you guys, like drinking plenty of water, right? Like that one's a big one. And I put electrolytes in my water, especially because we live in elevation here in Colorado. I definitely notice that I have more energy when I drink electrolytes every day. And then, yeah, I would just say like water and eating your vegetables. And I think everyone has a different, I don't know, like profile as far as diet goes. I don't think it's a one size fits all for me. Really high protein, like animal protein, red meat is really great for me. But, some blood types don't do well with that. So I would just say, like, really tune in to what your body thrives on, what makes you feel really good. But I try to eat as clean as possible. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's like a little bit on the food part, but I would say even just taking like 5 minutes in the morning to meditate, Insight Timer is a really great meditation app and they have guided meditations on there. If you're new to meditation, that could be a really great place to start. Um, they also just have like, you know, music on there, like relaxing music. You could just sit and listen to it and just like take some deep breaths. Those are some practical things you can do. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm missing anything else, but those are
Well,
just
there's
a
so
few
much. I mean, the thing is
easy.
Kasey has a bunch of stuff that she does, and she looks amazing, and it's just great. Yes, it's great. And I feel like there's people who are out there that are very confused and don't know exactly where to go with that. Um, Kasey and I have like tried to cook a lot of our meals at home. I would say almost 90% of our meals that we eat are cooked from home.
Yeah.
And that's because a lot of places are just served with different oils and things that we just don't approve of. So I also really recommend people learning how to cook in general and just finding great recipes and being inspired by cooking. It's something great. It's been serving me. And Kasey's has her own cookbook too. She's been cooking for years and but it's something that she loves to do. She made some amazing salmon yesterday. But yeah, just general things I thought people should know. And my other question would be just what else people you think you'd love to share with people that you haven't already, you think?
You know, my whole business got started because of Addie. She was 5 and we were in the living room and she came up to me one day and she was like, "Mommy." And I was like, "Yeah." She looked at me and she asked me, "Why are we here? Like, why did God make us?" And I was like, damn, that's a really good question, right? And I remember asking myself that when I was a little girl. I was like, oh, like, why are we here? Like, why did God create this? And I just looked at her and I was like, I don't know for sure, but I know that we're here to be happy and we're here to love and we're here to share that with the world. And that's when it really hit me that there are too many people out there existing who are not living a happy life. And they're letting their fears, their doubts, their traumas, their anger hold them back from living in their fullest potential. And so I would just say for anyone out there listening, if you or you know someone, who's not living in your fullest potential and you're like, I know there's more for me and I'm not my happiest, right? But I don't even know where to start. Like, just start with a few simple things, right? Maybe start just writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day. Pray for answers because they always will be provided. Um, and just start taking one step at a time of loving yourself more every day because I really truly think that radical self-love will shift this planet like 100%. Um, and reach out, get the support, right? And listen to podcasts that inspire you, read books that inspire you, hire mentors that you resonate with, right? Because there's something really powerful about working one-on-one with someone and having them guide you. I've been on the receiving end of that, and then I also, provide that. So those are just a few places to start with that, but life is too short to not be loving it and doing what you love and being with people you love and feeling really good every day. Um, so yeah, I would just say do something about it. Whether it's a really little tiny micro step or a really big massive leap, do something about it.
I love that. Yeah. And honestly, that seems like a great way to kind of leave the podcast in a way. Just spend some time with us today. Whoever listened all the way through, I'm like happy about that. People who like tune in, sometimes they'll tune out. But if you're listening to it and you're listening to it up to this moment, just know that you're greatly appreciated. And I hope that you took some valuable nuggets from this entire conversation. And, we'll be having people like Kasey, of course, she's my partner. So we'll be having people like this on more often and just, creating as much content as we can around people making a better life for themselves. That's the whole point of it. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, hope you guys tune into the next podcast. We'll have another guest. And anybody who wants to reach out to Kasey and connect, get her free session and really, yeah, just get a booking on our calendar because I think that if you do, you'll absolutely love it. And if you can straight up just book a rapid rewire session, was what we talked about today, go ahead and do that because you're going to have a transformative experience. So you can reach her on these links I'll provide. They're probably going to be a little bit different. She's still building some like her other website that she's building. But you can reach her directly. We're going to put her social medias in there. If you just message her, she'll also get you plugged right in and put you in a calendar. Feel free to do that. Add her on Instagram and Facebook and different areas, wherever you're doing the socials. But yeah, any other last words for you?
Nope. Thank you for having me on. It was fun to do this with you.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I hope people work with you. I hope people really take advantage of this opportunity. So I really
I do
appreciate
too.
everybody
And
tuning in.
oh,
Yeah.
I have one more thing that I forgot to share that I think is really important with the Rapid Rewire. The integration of it is permanent. So that's the really cool thing. Like whatever you process and we move through, like it sticks. Like it actually sticks with you. Like I've never had a client come back and be like, "Oh, this came back," you know? So that's pretty freaking cool. So I'll leave that there.
Yeah. So yeah, the rapid rewire thing really is big for her. Yeah. You should definitely check that out because it's true. I love that what you had to say because
Yeah.
a lot of people coaching, they want to move people through things, but it's just things that flare it back up and then
Yep.
they're right back where they started. and it's more of a maintenance thing. But yeah, that's really significant. Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, people who are considering some kind of movement in their life and some kind of change or some kind of transformation, even, or just something that they feel has been on the front of their mind. I mean, sometimes people just
Mhm.
can't get through stuff. I mean, please book a session. Like, yeah. But yeah, all right. Well, we'll wrap it up with that. Okay. You guys have a great rest of your day. I enjoyed every minute of this. Peace.
Bye.